All right, June 2nd, just waiting for Beatrice to come in so we can get started, do some of her post analysis as well. So just standing by till she should be here any second. Let's see what she has for us this week. I think last time we talked with Beatrice was on Saturday last week. So, and she did reach out to me over the weekend. She had some questions about volumes and stuff. We'll see if that's still the case today. And if it is, we'll go over it. Oh, there she is. Hello, hello. I'm good. I'm good. 1 second. I don't think I can hear you. I think maybe it's connected to your wrong mic. I think my speakers are on. I still don't hear you. Okay, you see, you you see where on the bottom where it says video and mute and all that. In the mute, there's a drop down, and I think you have to select the mic. No, I don't hear. I hear beeping noises. I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry? Yeah, try to, okay. Yeah, try to exit and come back in. All right, I'll go ahead and pause the recording now. So that way, when she comes back, I'll resume it. Okay, there she is, and she's joining right now. All right, it's connecting. Okay, it's connected now. Can you say something? Nope, I don't hear you. Oh, hello, now I hear you. Now I hear you.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
All right. I just needed my headphones apparently are not working with me today, but that's okay. We're here now.
Yeah, we're here. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just been trading, ready to step it up another notch. Just ready to, work with all the other stuff we've been working on. So I'm ready. I'm really curious to talk to you about volumes and how to read them better. Yeah, that's my big thing that I've been wanting to work on.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's get into that. Do you see any improvement in your progress since you started?
Absolutely. Now actually from before we started, I used to have a lot of trades that I didn't understand why I was doing them, or a lot of losing trades, and then later be like, oh, I see. Now there's a new thing that's happening where I'm not losing any trades. Every trade I enter for the last month or so, with the exception of one, we started April 30th. I looked at every single one, with the exception of one, I've made money on.
Okay.
So yes, which is very shocking compared to how it was before. But now I'm making 1R, 2R, 1R, 2R. So, and I'm like in and out, in and out. So I want to be more confident in my read so I can hold on to the trades that are going to take off and know which trades to get out. And I think volume is the thing that's going to give me that little edge, a little bit more confidence on
So volume is the holy grail.
It's not. If I put it, I've learned from you, there's no holy grail in trading. But if I put it all together, I think, and then add that extra understanding, I think maybe I can take my trades from, because I know a lot of trades I enter and I make money and they're great, but then take off. And not necessarily that I would go for home runs every time, but I could really maximize my profits on each trade if I just understood that this one was going to go a little further or this one was not.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So we'll add in that volume knowledge a little bit because at the end of the day, you are the holy grail. So the better you become, the more stable the holy grail becomes as well. So
yes.
All right. So, cool. So I'll give you screen sharing rights, and you can just take me through on what concerns you have, and based on what trade, et cetera, and we can go over it.
All right, let me see here. And I want to share that screen. And then just, yeah. Do you see my CAD Swiss franc that I have up?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I can see you've been recording also.
I'm actually in the middle of a recording. I didn't know if we're going to be able to get time today, so I figured I'd just make the recording. And if we came together, then I would just, save this one and give it to you later. So,
okay.
Yeah, you see, that's the screen I was working on today. So I'm gonna, maybe I should move the screen this way so you're not looking at the side profile of me. Let me see. Hold on.
Sure.
Can I share a different screen?
Yeah,
I want
you'll
to
have
share
to just
this screen. Yeah,
share
because my camera is right in front of me. It'd be easier if I.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
All right, there we go. So so this is the trade I took today, and I will go over it. So on Sunday, based on what you taught me, that I think the last weekend, I went through the daily charts just to see what was going on and mark my areas, because the market was closed, and I just wanted to see what areas, important areas in the daily, because I don't usually look at the daily during the week. So this one, yeah, and I don't know if that's a good practice, but it really helped with this one, as you can see, right? You see, I'm going to show you the daily view. I never look at the daily view. I'm just saying this is the only time, and the weekends I look at it. So, because I know what you're thinking. All right. So yeah, as it came down, you see the daily view, right? This is an important area, but the more important thing I noticed about this particular trade is that it's been kind of doing this channeling thing. So today it came up here, but I marked this on the weekend and said, hey, if it comes up here, I'll look at it. And today it alerted me, and Swiss franc was pretty active today, USD Swiss franc, CAD Swiss franc, and all the other Swiss francs. So those are the two reasons, and the Aussies too, by the way. So those were the two groups that I was looking at. I was looking at Aussies for cheese, but they haven't, when they pulled back, I was in front of those charts, so I didn't end up taking them. So I'm looking, at least from my viewpoint, that this area here is at the top of a channel that's holding from a higher time frame. And so I see this buyers coming in, and then boom, this is a pretty big push. So I understand I'm overall, technically I'm in a buyer zone, but I'm also at an area where this could turn around. So I'm looking at the volume. This volume had not happened when I was trading. So all I saw was these volumes. So it was above average, and the sellers seemed to be very dominant in this area. So when it came up, it came down. And I know you're going to say I'm moving too quickly into the 15, but I'm going to show you the 15 view. I'm starting to know what you're going to say before you say it. Anyway, so that's so as I looked, I did.
Whenever you're done, let's go back to the 60, okay?
All right, I know you're gonna say that, so I was saying that in the back of my head, so I wanted to share that with you. All right, so but I did spend the Sunday. I did kind of look at it, so maybe I'm rushing through because I've done some pre-work before coming here. But okay, so this is what I saw. I know that from the 60, we're coming up. We're in a bias volume. Okay, so I'm starting to pay attention to this area because I'm like, oh, it's interesting. Should I sell? Should I buy? I could see both sides, right? So I could see that this buyer came up, not with that much volume, and then he had pulled up. This is the area where I started looking at this trade. And I thought, okay, so what do I do with this? I was like, okay, I'm gonna let him come up and see how he reacts to this area or this area, and then see what I can do. So I entered here, and in the video, I say I'm entering here, but I know that if this buyer is still alive, he's gonna get a better price and then come up, right? Because in this little view on the 15, knowing the bigger picture that he's already tried once, now he's gonna get a better price and come up, and maybe come up to this area so I can enter. But I entered this area here to here, got out here, and then I didn't enter this because I was thinking, okay, I'm at the end of a very long buy with an area where it's supposed to turn around. And the volume on the 1 hour, which I'm going to go back and stay there, at the time, the volume for this buyer was below the average. So I was thinking, okay, it's low volume, it's not coming up. So I ended up not getting into the buy. Now I know that would probably be more advisable to get into the buy and not the sell, because the buy seemed to work really well. But my question for you in the video was, you know, knowing that this is a channel,
Yeah.
was I thinking too high in the time frame? Should I just stuck with this time frame and did the buy because I saw it so clearly, even though we are at the end of this area with the channel? Or was I selling correctly? Because I thought if this sell goes, it has all this room to come down. I
Yeah.
don't want all of it, but I want a lot of it. So that was my thinking. So
Okay.
overall, that's my trade.
All right. So there's a couple of things that I see here. The idea is correct, what you're trying to do, and I can see why.
Yes.
Because obviously, you know, who doesn't want that, man? I want that. You know, everybody wants
Yes.
that. You know.
Yes.
So, but by doing this, what's going to happen is just like how you did this trade, and it's you know, you got in, but then you had to get out because there was some idea of, is it now or is it going to be later? Is it now or is it going to be later? That causes you to go in, out, in, out, in, out. What happens is that will build a habit to go out quickly. And that when the real trade happens, you won't be able to write it.
Okay.
Because every step of the way, it's going to be like, okay, maybe it's going to bounce here. Maybe it's going to bounce here. Maybe it's going to bounce here. You won't be able to write it all the way down regardless. So you have to think of both ways in terms of, am I just okay with just hit in, out, and I can care less about this entire move? Or if the entire move is going to happen, then I need to get very good at that question, when? Right?
Instead You're reading my mind. You're reading my mind. Yes.
So if you want to do that massive move, then you got to get good at that when part. But otherwise, the way you entered and you exited, that's good for day trading. You know, it's going to pay the bills. It's going to do everything that you need to do at a regular constant speed. So that's okay. So let's go up to the daily. I want to mention something about this. Okay, so one thing that you have to notice for when you're trying to predict that this might be the top of this, it is based on this channel that you drew, right? But this channel, is it an up channel or down channel?
It's an up channel.
It's an up channel. So the easiest ones to do are the buys, because you have reference to the left of why should I do the buy? Because every buy happens off of a trap seller, trap seller, right? Every buy is taking a trap seller to its left and saying, thank you for that support. But any sell that happens from the top is, well, why is it selling from here? I don't know. Well, why would it sell from here? I don't know. Unless you have an SNR. It is only that time that I would say, take that risk.
Okay.
Okay, because we don't have that, it becomes much harder to know, is this line that I drew, I hope the big boys also drew that line. Otherwise, it won't work.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that the sell, because I was in a sell zone in the daily, and that's why I thought, okay, the sells would be more powerful because I have the bigger boy coming with me, because I'm looking at that sell coming down this way. But you're right, the buys are more secure than thinking, okay, the sellers are eventually they're going to kick in, because I'm seeing this as a pullback for another sell to happen, is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean. Yes.
But then that sell, even to get to that area, a couple days.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And that trade that you got in and out was like 30 minutes.
Very quick,
right?
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
The perspective is really wide and far apart. Like, it's extremely far apart. So yes, you can use the daily if you want to, but I would say, like, if you have a line like that from support resistance, and you have a channel like as a confluence getting up to that spot, then I would say, okay, you know, try that, because this might be the start of the V formation that happens.
Okay.
Then you can get that accelerated power to come your way.
I see.
Right?
Yeah, because the blue line here is also an SM. If you go back, I look back, there's an area that's been holding for a while. So maybe I should have waited till it got further up here instead of entering there.
Yeah, that would be a lot safer, because
Yeah.
this mid-air of
Yes.
whatever this thing is. It's like, why is it stopping there? We don't know, because however much data this is from November till now,
Yes.
that's a lot of data, and there's nothing obstructing its way. It can easily, we can, what if I said, and then this was parabolic, and this whole thing is
Ah,
gonna go back 100% all the way to the top? That's a
yeah.
possibility, right?
It's true. Yes.
Yeah. So unless we have a reference point to work off of, avoid these ones, these type ones.
Okay. Got it. Got it. You want me to go back to the daily, to the hour? I
Back to the
mean,
hour. Okay. So
yes.
now let's get
Okay.
into the Holy Grail.
Ooh, I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. So let's take a look at this. Every step of the way, if you can,
Mm-hmm.
squeeze this down a little bit, your pricing, so I can get the volume outside of
Okay.
yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, let's widen up a little bit so I can, there we go.
There we
Okay,
go. Okay.
so let's start from what we see here.
Okay.
Seller, pullback, seller. Would you say someone sold that?
Yes.
Okay, would you say
Yes.
someone is selling that?
Definitely.
Would you say someone's selling that?
Oh, wow. Look at that. Yes. Yes.
Right? So there's a
Parabolic to the
movement.
end. Yeah.
There you go. There's a movement
Yes.
coming down that went parabolic at the end and puts in a
Mm-hmm.
high volume.
Yes.
Okay? That high volume gets followed by buyers.
Okay.
Okay, so we go further up in this area, we have that. What's that saying? High volume seller. Oh, looks like someone might have hit it again.
Yeah.
Possibility. But then later on, what happens? What's this thing? Can you put your mouse on that? And so we can see where that is exactly.
It's
Buyers
on
hit it
the,
up really, really
yes.
hard. So sellers cashing out down here,
Mm-hmm.
buyers hitting it along the way. Okay, that's a buyer again.
Yes.
Sellers cashing out one last time, buyers hitting it again.
Yes.
So every step of the way, are you seeing sellers or buyers?
Buyers really taking over.
Buyers really taking over. Okay, so
Yeah.
up until this point, we know the story is flipping around. It's turning around. Buyers are really interested in this. Obviously, the further it goes, the more the buyer is bleeding, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yes.
so far we got this up movement that starts to pick up some momentum. Okay, whatever it was
Yeah.
struggling before has gone faster now. Then it gets up to this area, and we start seeing some more volume in this. Now, where is that?
Well, it looks like at the top area, right in this area here.
Okay, so someone's starting to hit some cells in there, but what happens to the cells?
They don't work. The buyers kicked right back in.
Buyers kick
The
right back in.
countered. Yes.
Okay, so this now becomes an important area of, that was weird. We got some volume coming in from the sellers, but then it just got gobbled up.
Yes.
Okay, so why is it gobbling up? Is it finishing this uptrend? That's a possibility because it went parabolic at that last part. Okay,
Yes.
what happens once it pulls back to this area?
Well, when the buyers kick back in again with even higher volume.
With even higher volume, but then that
Yes.
higher volume that we see, which is the highest of today, since that's your dotted line,
Yes.
any follow through on that buyer volume?
None. Not at all.
This is basically could be a cash out instead of that buyer actually sustaining the buy, because this doesn't make any sense just before it. There was so much volume for the seller, and then it just got gobbled up. And then now we had even higher volume, but no follow through. This is turning into a seller's area. It's building that story for you. Now,
Okay.
Now, it's not because there's a line up here that you drew. It just happens to be there as a coincidence.
A line from the daily. That's what I was thinking also right now.
Like,
so I took
whenever I have a trade, I'm going to have you draw a line for me so my trade works faster.
You'll make $1 million. Yes. No, my ego was saying, yes, it's the line, but I understand it's not the line. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now up until this point, everything is making sense. We know that every step of the way it was buyers, and then right around this area, things get a little bit crazy.
Yes.
Okay. And crazy is good because it's not going to buy forever, right? So
Yes.
it's telling us, is it possibly putting in a top? Now, the question you have to ask yourself, do I want to counter trend in a buyer's market?
Yeah, that question came up for me as I was trading this. If I didn't, I have the confidence on my lines from the daily, I probably wouldn't have, but I was having that whole backstory. That's why I sold here. But yeah, I probably wouldn't want to go against this big buyer coming up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now let's now go down to the 15, and I want to talk you through something. This trade was very, very good that you did
Yes.
because of where you did it from. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, any volume that you read here now is going to look like, okay, and then that's the seller, and then that's the buyer, and everything, et cetera, et cetera. But
Yes.
now you know this whole chunk of volume belongs to the story of what we just read on the 60.
Yes.
So if I go down to the 3-minute now, it can also show me some certain things that I wouldn't know about if I didn't know the story that led up to it.
Yes.
So we knew that the buyers were hitting it, and then it went crazy at the end. So now when
Yeah.
we have a cluster of volume showing up towards the end, in that uptrend, okay, when we have a cluster of volume showing up at the end of the uptrend, we know it is not a volume of either a seller or a buyer because of the green and red colors, but it's because it's where it's at in the story. It's at the end of that movement. Therefore, it all belongs to the seller.
So now at the 15, we're reading clusters of volume instead of the way we did it in the 1 hour.
Yeah,
That's important to know.
And how do you know it's a cluster?
Because it's all here together and it's representing this very move up here. Yeah.
Is price going anywhere?
No.
And that cluster is showing you higher and higher volume.
Yes.
Price is not going.
Somebody's really interested in this area. Yes.
There's a buildup happening. So it's coming from the story from the higher time frame of something's happening here.
Yes.
Right? Because this volume has zero follow through. It's not doing anything, but the volume just building and building and building.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense because it's way above average and it's just, and it's the time of day it should be slowing down, but it's still just going higher and higher and higher. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say, let's look into this volume here where you had that peak volume?
Yeah.
Okay, so that seems to be whatever the seller was. Buyer probably just stepped in right there. Right, so that buyer stepped in, no follow through on that buyer volume. He went all the way to the top there. Okay, what else do we know? That rejection that you saw from the top, seller hit it?
Seller tried to hit it. It's a slightly higher volume than before, but not as high as this. But yeah, there's some volume there.
There's some, okay, so up in the story, you're getting higher and higher and higher up there. Now, we're going to walk through in your mind as both the seller and the buyer. Which one do you want to do first?
Let me do the buyer because it's so apparent, and then I'll do the seller.
Okay. So as the buyer, when this market moves up, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking when this goes up, if I entered, I'm thinking when I see this candle here with volume, because that's the only volume I would have seen at the time, it's time to get out or cash out or take some profits or something here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What happens next after that? In case you do take some profit, what would make you think get back in?
There's low volume. The volume disappears and then it kind of just goes sideways and then a buyer, there's no volume to follow through and the candles are tiny, tiny little, there's no seller stepping in here with any kind of power.
Okay. So if it pulls back struggling, you would say, why not? I got a good price again. Why not? I'll do the buy again because it's been proven to me time and time again, plus the volume has showed me it's the buyers, it's the buyers, it's the buyers. So you're like, I made money off of this one. Why not make money if it pulls back again?
Yes.
Right? So far, that story is prevailing of the buyer so far. Okay. Once it comes down into this area, would you say it struggled on the way to that? SNR?
Yeah, it gives, structured pullback and a hold at an area was supposed to hold with volume kicking in. Yeah, I would say if I was a buyer, buy again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that buy, you got in, okay?
Yes.
Hypothetically, you got in,
Yeah.
and that buy is now performing.
Yes.
So I'm going to draw that little area here for you, and you got in there, and that buy is starting to take off, okay? Until you get that
Yes.
red bar up there. Now,
Yes.
when you're in that buy, and I ask you one question, is where do you think you might have some problems?
The same area had problems before, which is right in that area.
Okay, so you're saying
Yes.
up at resistance, you might have some
Yes.
problems.
Yes.
Okay, now this whole thing is the first attempt buy, which is like
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a V formation, and
Okay.
you bought it. And in your mind, it's just tell me it will hold this area and we'll do it again.
Yes.
Okay, that's what a test is, right? We always talk about the
Yes.
V formation and couple tests. A test
Yes, we
basically
do.
means prove to me that is legit.
Okay.
Okay, so he
Yeah.
gets up to here, turns back around, comes down, comes down, comes down, starts putting in some tails.
Yes.
You can buy it again or even scale in.
Ah, okay. And he
Okay,
got a better price than he did the first time too. Yeah.
slightly, but it's telling you
Yeah.
that area is holding.
Yes.
Okay, now you're in that buy, you maybe have scaled in. Where do you think you're going to have some problems?
Same area, which it did. Yeah. Right here when it starts to range a little bit here.
Okay, but now you're
Yeah.
invested. You
Yes.
need this to work.
True.
If it bounces off of there, comes back down, would you buy it again?
I wouldn't know because now I know the buyers have.
I wouldn't either.
I would not. I
Nobody at
would
Earnings
not.
Forex should. If you're watching this,
Yes.
don't buy.
Yeah. Stay out. Yes. No, I wouldn't because from what I maybe a month ago I would have, but now that I know better, from what you've taught me, that if they've tried and tried again and are not able to make any new highs, it's time to say adios. We're done.
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect. So second time around, okay, I'm just gonna
Mhm.
draw it simplistically now. So you
Yeah.
bought that first time around.
Yes.
Let's switch it up a little bit for you. You
Yes.
were not there. You were not in the office when that happened. But then you're
I
like,
wasn't.
oh, come on, I missed it.
Yeah.
He's giving you a test. You're like, yes, if it gives me a test low enough, I'll buy
Mm-hmm.
it. And then you buy this. And that buy starts to perform and you're aware of this resistance. Correct?
Yes.
That buy, can you put a mouse on that buy?
Right here. Yes.
Okay. What can you see about that buy?
The volume is pretty high compared to everything prior to that. It's the highest
Okay.
volume at the time. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. So now that buy, where does it go to?
Same area installs.
Same area installs. Now,
Yeah.
this has to hold. Whatever
Ah.
it's doing, it has to hold. If it comes in deep,
Mm-hmm. Like it
whoever
did.
bought this or whoever
Yes.
bought next is going to panic and say, uh-oh, get out, get out, get out.
Yes.
It needs to hold and follow through. Now, let's move that mouse away.
Yeah.
He held there for a bit. That red candle just came in. Can you tell me about that red candle?
Well, the highest volume we've seen, even
Highest
higher
volume.
than all the, yes.
Would you say whoever bought this and whoever bought this is now very interested and salivating, saying, I can't wait to buy more because it's getting me a discount yet once again?
No, not even in the right mind. No.
Right. So it's, yes, it's true. It's a discounted price. Yes, it's away from the top. It's nice
Mm.
technical analysis. Get away from the top. We'll buy it with the buyers. But
Yes.
the buyers are going to freak out now, right? Whoever bought
Yes.
already is thinking, why isn't it working? And whoever's coming late to the story is thinking, ah, yeah, finally, thank you for telling me 5 times ahead that it was going to be a buy. And now I'll just copy that and I'll do it now when the big boys already are like, oh, hell no. I'm not touching this thing,
Yes. Yes.
right? Okay, that's the buyer story. Let's flip it around and now look at it as a sell.
Yeah, that's what I did, the sell. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at it as if I was looking the way I was looking, because I did look at it as a seller,
Yeah.
is that the buyers have coming up and they're coming up. And now look at the momentum. The rubber band man is exhausted.
Mhm.
And then he gets some kind of coffee or, I don't know, Starbucks. And he's like, what is happening here? Like, based on I can hear you in my head as I was looking at this. Like, what did he do here? Where did he get all this energy? Look at how these moves were happening. He was slowing down, and then boom, he comes up, above average volume, and then he can't make any higher. He come back and he tried again. Okay, this time I watched it and I saw it, and I was watching it from here, and I said, okay, if this buyer can't make any highs, I'm gonna enter with the hopes for at least to get to here or maybe lower, right? Because if he breaks this area, he's going, but he didn't. I bought here, I sold here, meaning, and I got out here because I saw this wick coming in, and I was like, okay, maybe they need one last push. And I said to myself as a seller, if this buyer comes up here and holds again, he's done, right? He's done for. So my second trade would have been, honestly, I would have entered up here with hopes that this seller is going to now do his thing. So as a seller, I'm thinking this buyer is done
No, not
because
yet.
of the fact.
Not
Okay.
yet. Because the
Yeah.
flip side, you got to read it the flip side as well.
Okay.
So here we go. The clues that you got ahead of time, the cashing out, the stepping in, you know it's a buyer's play, right?
Yes.
And then there's no more buyer's play after that. And then it goes parabolic at the end. You're like, that's weird. So if it's parabolic at the end, generally parabolic moves get fully reversed, if it's at the end especially, right?
Yes.
Would you say someone sold that thinking like that logic way of thinking?
Yeah, true.
Okay, where do you think, let's say you sold that, or let's say I sold that, where do you think I would be worried about?
Same, the black line when
Black
they
line
started,
here.
especially, yes.
Okay, so I know it's going to bounce off of there because I'm hitting it as it's coming at me. So obviously I know I'm, taking that risk. So I do that sell, it comes at me as a test and it still holds. You sold.
Yeah.
Where are we both concerned about?
Same area as it comes down. I thought in my mind that it might come a little lower than that if this buyer is still interested.
No.
But in this,
don't switch to the buy side. Think seller, only seller.
Okay. I'm back. I'm the seller. All right. I went away for a minute. Okay. So if I was the seller, this is the same area. If it started to sell here, I would get out because it's an S&R area that held before.
Good. When that sell happened, did you get any volume?
When this, at the top of this cell right here,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there was some volume and then increased, and it went down and then increased at the end.
Well, can you put your mouse on that green one?
Right there. That's
Where
the
is
big
that?
green one right here.
Okay.
Do you want me to take this thing off here?
Okay. So it's like, could it be the buyers are dying and that's a cash out sign again? Mm-hmm. Because it held right after there, right? So if I sold and you sold, we're both now invested in this and saying, all right, it's working. Let's go, baby. Let's go. But it's got to work. He's having trouble here. Okay, go sideways, but hold. He starts coming in deeper and deeper and deeper. How do you and I feel about ourselves?
Not so confident anymore.
So would we be interested in selling it again?
No.
So
because we've tried twice, a third time, yes.
Both sides are now at a inflection point of, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Only the volume and the moves will decide. Now, the only thing that can happen is the aftermath, which means go and then give me a test, or go and give me a test.
This is a true money spot. Everybody, both sides are in control. Yeah.
Correct. So the only place where you have sell trades is that guy, and that's it. The only place where you have buy trades is that guy and that guy. Maybe this one, but it's got to hold.
Yeah.
So the buys
Yeah.
might be holding on for dear life. But with the way the seller came in and that high volume, let's open this up a little bit, because if I look at that candle, I see a big tail on the bottom. Let's open
Yes.
that candle up and find out what that volume is
So go down to the 3
to
maybe?
the 3 minute.
Yeah, okay. There we go. So
Where is
this
that high
volume
volume showing up?
in the middle of the 3 candles here, the middle candle.
Yeah, what is this one here?
That one is right there, the tiny little candle inside the little range up here.
I think the buyer is still around.
Huh.
The buyer is
Why
still
you,
around. Yeah, because that's not a seller hitting it.
this candle here?
Yeah, it's not a seller hitting it, because look, if the sellers was to say, okay, the buyers are going to quit now, where's the speed, momentum, and everything? It's not there.
It's not.
Buyers are still around.
Yeah, and it would make sense because CAD is quite strong today because it's a risk on day. And that's the other thing that I had going in my mind at the same time, is that Aussie, New Zealand, and CAD are super strong today. So Swiss franc yen is weak. So this could explain, maybe they're waiting for another day. But yes, yes.
Yeah, so, but can we do anything in terms of us entering? We can't,
No, no, there's
right?
nothing here.
Because we've already exhausted our options of the safety nets, that they're all gone. Now it's
Yeah.
a matter of luck of if anyone enters and then they cross their fingers, yeah, 50% they will be right.
Hmm.
All right.
And you said the reason why you know the buyers are here, just one more time, is because the sellers didn't hit it. Is that what you're
Um,
saying?
let's go back to the 15 and I'll show you. So because someone bought here and someone bought there,
Yes.
this is still an SNR area for that buyer. He might
Sure.
still be hanging on saying, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt to see if it can perform. Because for me, this is very low. But again, a low thing is almost acceptable, because if I say this is my range, then that breakout from that range is barely anything. So a deeper pullback is ideal, right? If
Okay.
I do that, then it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I see.
I do see it as this could be the test, the final attempt of, if this fails to go up, sellers will just dominate. They might take it down. But regardless of the situation, it's, if that's the top and that's the bottom, price is right in the middle.
Yeah,
There's
and
nothing that
nothing to
can be
do
done.
there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so that was my one trade for today, just from here to the black line. That was it.
That was perfect.
Yes, yes.
You know, because you entered there, I was like, okay, that was a perfectly trade done. I wasn't sure if you knew why, but
Yes,
it
I
was a
do.
good trade. It was a good trade,
Yes,
entry and exit.
yes. Yes. But see that, and so my I was looking at this, and I saw this, I exited, and I got tempted because I saw this wick, and I'm thinking, okay, the buyer's gonna push up at least to here. And I thought I could have sold this and my second trade be this buy here, because the Aussies hadn't pulled back. That was my backup trade, the Aussie trades. So I thought I could use this as my second trade, and I didn't because of the story that I had in the background. I thought I'd rather sell this than buy this. But then it worked, and I thought FOMO. I was like, oh, I could have bought this. This was so smooth. It was one candle to the top, but that was my psychological part. It was like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? I could have got my 2 trades out of this little area. Yes.
Yeah. It's still a bit messy, because even if the buy is here, it didn't go.
No, it didn't.
It didn't go. So it's a bit concerning.
So would you say this was a pair selection issue, or would you think it was okay for a day trade? What would you rate this? Where do you
It's
see?
okay for a day trade. I mean, there's a buy there. If you didn't do that, there's
Yeah.
a buy there. There's still
Yes.
money there,
Okay. Okay.
right? There's 2 trades available.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep working on this volume read to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm seeing it even as the way you saw it, as clear as you see it. Yeah. Yeah, because even the daily part really did. I had an aha moment. The daily part, especially with you mentioning to buy at the bottom because you know that there's trapped, sellers in there. I was looking. I think I was treating it like a range. I don't know if you remember when in the chapter on the range you say you go with the big boy territory. And I
Yeah.
think I was doing that with the channel where I was saying we're in a seller's territory. So even though it's a channel, I just sell, sell, sell. I think that was my mix up there a little bit.
Yeah, that's okay. Just maybe just make this a habit of wherever you sell from or
Mm-hmm.
exit from,
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be from a reference point of something.
Okay. That I can take into my next trade because it's in a few weeks. So I'm going to try to add that to it. Also, and I know it's going to be slow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because Thursday, Friday is probably going to be busy. So I'll try to add that to my trade. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries,
Thank
no
you.
worries. All right, so the final to end off with, what is the one thing you want to see to improve?
Well, I want to fine tune my volume, the Holy Grail. I'm going to take that with me. Become a millionaire next week. No, I'm going to take the volume and I'm going to work on that and also having a reference point for my exits. So those are 2 points I can add to my trading right away
Yeah,
and
for
see an
your
improvement
entries, especially.
for my entries,
Yeah,
especially. So this entry here, you think that was because I used this as a reference point was okay?
that one's okay. Yeah,
Okay,
the
good,
third time
good.
around, no.
Yeah, I
Just
learned that the hard way. Yes.
yeah,
No third time trades. Yes. Yeah. Got it. That's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Because I want this more than I want my next breath. And I say that with the utmost seriousness. I want to
okay.
master this more than I want to breathe. So that's serious. So I will keep looking at this and I'll keep going through our lessons and learning best. And next
Yeah,
time we meet, maybe we'll add something else to it. Yeah.
yeah, sure. So let's aim for what, 4 business days, 3, 4, maybe 5 business days to give you enough time
Yes.
to practice this. And then
Yeah.
whenever
So
you feel
Tuesday. Yeah.
you got it down or there are some questions, then we can start immediately, whether even if it's one day later. But try it out, and then if you come
Yeah.
into a problem or you got it down, just let me know.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to see more of in my post analysis or
Um,
in my trading?
just one thing to fix. Go with the flow.
Okay.
Go with the
Okay.
flow. Yeah.
Okay. So it
Unless,
would have been better to buy these two areas than sell these two areas.
yeah, the only time I
Okay.
would say do the sell on this is if your
Mm-hmm.
60 was doing this and then the price was like that.
Ah,
Then
okay.
I would say, okay, forget the buys, just focus on the sell side because you're in that story of the 60 guy.
Now, my question here is that I think that on our first lesson, you mentioned this whole idea of buying in the right areas of selling the right, not buying too high, not
Yeah.
selling too low. My thought process was that even though I saw this buyers here, I thought my voice in my head was saying, are you buying at a really high area where the buyers are giving up? And I don't know if that my thinking is wrong. You know what I mean? Like the reason why, even though I saw this buy and I saw this buy, I'm thinking, are you buying at the end of the buyers instead of, because then you'd be in the wrong area. You'd be too high up.
No, not in this
Okay.
case because every step of the way it's telling you buyers are stepping in.
Okay.
Remember, if you're in a trend, it can go as high as it wants.
True.
It
True.
can do, one leg, 2 leg, 3 leg, up to 10, 20, 30 legs. Like we don't know. It's only
Yes.
if it's in a pullback that we say it's too high up, stop the buying.
Ah. Oh, I see.
Okay, so having that said, you see how this looks like an uptrend?
Yeah.
If this is that uptrend right here, then we can say it's too high up there because it's part of a retracement on a higher time frame.
I see.
Then we say, yes, it's too high up, get rid of it.
Ah, this has come up for me several times. I need to make that switch where I keep saying, "Oh, it's too high up, I can't sell." But you've said this to me before, where just look at the volume because if it's still going up, keep going up. There's no like a 3 pushes or 4 pushes thing. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That might be something I need to focus on a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, because that was the reason why I didn't do the buys, even though I saw them perfectly, is that, okay, Beatrice, you're buying at a higher. But no, you're right. Just only the pullback. Focus only the pullbacks for that. Got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yes, this is awesome.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
Not
I'm
to sound
very
weird, but
curious.
I really, really love you. So this is awesome. Yes.
I'm very curious to see what this CAD Swiss franc ends up doing. If you can, maybe along when I put up this recording, if you can put a screenshot with it, 24 or 48 hours down the line
Mm-hmm.
to supplement it.
Yeah, to see if the buyers or the sellers are going to end up taking over. And that'd be a good lesson for me as well. I'll do that tomorrow around the same time and see whatever happened to this. I feel like the sellers are really going to kick in.
Yeah,
And then I'm going to be
I'm
like,
actually
I
getting
am a genius.
I'm getting a tingling feeling to hit the buys right now but I don't want to trade right now. I've done quite a bit of trades today, but
Yes.
I want to buy this thing. So
Yes. You're a shark and there's blood in the water. That's how I feel. Yes, yeah, I see what you mean. But because you think this might keep going higher and higher.
yeah,
That's interesting.
it's because you showed me the daily. If you didn't show me the daily, I would just let it go. It's because you showed me the daily and there's nothing here as a reference point. I feel this
Yes.
thing can go nuts on its way up.
Interesting. Well, we'll both feel bad tomorrow when I show you. If he went up, you missed a really good buy. And if he went up, I was completely wrong on the sell. So we'll be equal. We'll share in the misery. So, yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you. I will update on this. And usually I do 2 trades, but I really wanted to meet with you. So I wanted to have a trade to talk about. So that's what I did. I've been keeping to my 2 trades every day.
Okay.
And yeah. So yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Good. Looking forward to our next meeting.
Yeah.
Hope everything goes well. I know we started a new month. Any goals for you that you're working on that I can help? Can I help with anything? Is there anything?
Yeah. So some of the goals I have is make sure Beatrice makes her goals. So
Okay.
that's my
You
goal. That's
have
my job.
you have a lot of work. So. Beatrice, I heard she's a lot of work. Yes. I need to make $1 million by the end of the month. So
Well,
you better get to work. Yeah. No, thank you. That's good. I'll keep working on this, and like I said, I'll keep bugging you if I get something that I don't understand.
no problem. No problem. Let me know.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Speak soon.
How do we
Cheers.
see you soon? Oh,